Now, my memories, I didn't know it was you because I'm talking about when I was a real young child and loving all the animated shows, as any kid would. And one of my favorites growing up was The Ant and the Aardvark. And little did I know, and I didn't really, at that young age, wasn't realizing you were doing Dean Martin as the Ant and Jackie Mason as the Aardvark, which later on, of course, I became fully aware of that. And that's so that must have been fun to do, huh?
Absolutely. And I was just starting out in the business, more or less, and I was doing something on television, got a call, and went in to see these people, to Patty Freeling. And Frizz Freeling brought me into his office, and he held up this Aardvark, and he said, "This is a nervous kind of guy." He said, "What kind of a voice for a nervous guy?" "I'll tell you the truth, it's a wonderful thing, and maybe you'll get him. I'll talk about eating." And he said, "Hey, that's I like that. That's good." Okay, so then he held up the other one, and it was the Ant, and he was kind of a lazy kind of guy, just sitting around doing nothing, and I think I'll go to the picnic anyway. You know, that kind of guy. So there you go. That's how that happened. Just gave him 2 shots, and he liked them both.
You know, it's interesting. I just was curious right now. Did you have to, when you're an impressionist and when you do something like animation like that, did you have to seek approval from Dean Martin and Jackie Mason?
That's a very good question, and I had no idea. And word got back to me that the producers called these gentlemen and asked them if they said, "Sure, go right ahead, but don't say anything stupid." Basically. You know, Dino gave permission, and so did Jackie. They said, "Yeah, it's okay, it's fine."
Well, that's great. That is interesting. We'll learn something.
And I knew them both, which made it easier, I think.
Oh, I can imagine. Well, see that. I can imagine they were very appreciative because you were very respectful with the impressions. You were not, you're not.
Well, I did what was in the book. I just did that, and.
But even on stage, when you do the impression,
you're always very respectful. I did a show called Bizarre, which I've never did anything blue or any of that kind of stuff or mean stuff on stage, on my own act. But I did Bizarre, and it got a little out of hand. It was only supposed to go to a million homes, right? Because of what the heck was the name of that? Showtime. And it was the beginning of Showtime television, cable television. We were the first regularly scheduled television show on Showtime, and they wanted something extra because they were paying extra for this cable thing, And so they got into a little bit of the Benny Hill business, and I got caught up in it. And otherwise, having been raised Catholic with a sister that was a nun, and cousins that are priests and nuns, I thought, well, who's going to see it, right? So these young girls would come, and Super Dave, Super Dave?
Yeah, you introduced him on your variety show.
Yeah, he would audition them out in the hallway. Let's put it that way. And he said he'd come back in and say, "Where do you see this one tomorrow?"
Well, I have to say...
And they tell the girls their fathers would never see it because it's on cable television. And they don't have cable television, do they? No, but they sure as hell got it later.
Well, I got to tell you... This is interesting, John, because I actually was one of the first... My family is one of the first families to have cable. And as I said, I grew up in Limerick, as we were talking before the show. And we had Cablevision. I was 9 years old in 1981. We were the first. So you were already on with that show. And here and there, I would... I got to see some of it here and there. We had Showtime and all the other channels.
Yeah.
Not that my parents knew I was seeing it. But
I get a lot of guys, I think a lot of people stop me at airports and say, "Hey, John, I used to sneak in and watch you."
Well, listen, it's interesting. In all these years now, you're a pioneer when it came to cable television as far as a regular series,
I had somebody thank me for the negative influence I had on him.
You never know. You got to take it take what you can get.
He appreciated it.
We're talking with.
John.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, this is great. We're talking with John Byner, and a comedian, of course, an actor, and one of the great impressionists.